And welcome everybody to today's exciting episode.
Kids, you tried your best and failed miserably. The lesson is never try.
Oh, what is that from? Oh,
One of the most famous lines.
it's not Simpsons.
It is Simpsons.
Is it Simpsons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Homer.
Was it a Christmas episode or something like that?
No idea.
I can't remember.
There's so many Simpsons quotes that are just epic.
There is. Yeah.
I liked that one.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Very, very, very original.
Yeah. Well, no. It's
No.
not. I'm running out of inspiration for these welcomes to the show. So
The old intro. Josh's intro is famous now, though. You've got to keep doing it.
I can't stop now. I have to keep it going.
You started a trend.
Have I?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Well, you've maintained a trend doing it, I mean.
Yeah. I think most people have like a theme tune and then they just go straight into it. But we have a theme tune and then
Josh's little intro.
But it's fine.
This is random quote of the day.
Yeah, maybe I can start doing facts of the day or little quotes of the day. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to start doing that thing when you go on Instagram and other social media things. And it's like, if you pick yourself up and life gives you lemons, then make lemonade because you're the best and stuff like that. You know, like those inspirational quotes.
Yeah, nah, don't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Never.
No. And I've now got to learn to speak again.
Ah, yes.
Because after months and months, it's finally happened. I have my teeth implants.
Hey, new teeth.
Yeah. And I've realised that without a big plastic plate in my mouth, I don't know how to talk.
He's pirate new teeth over here.
So my S's and T's might sound a little bit weird today.
Oh, you might be able to do that. Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Yes.
Chris,
That's so
come in
good.
the house. I got something for you.
How do you do that? It's so good. The whistle's perfect. Oh, well, I suppose we've got to kick things off with the old disclaimer in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think it is a disclaimer.
It's not a disclaimer, no. Do you want me to
brought-
explain? Or
Yeah, it was brought to our attention, wasn't it?
it was, yeah. One of our American listeners, Ted, good old Ted, been listening to the show for ages. I think almost since the start. Big fan of the show. Not massive fan of conspiracy theories. He prefers his like cryptids and ghosts and aliens and stuff like that. But he does listen to every single program, and he picked up on the fact that we had referenced someone that is really not very popular in America, and we didn't really realise it.
No, we don't really know his work, to be honest.
No, I had to look him up on Wikipedia, and yeah, he is pond scum.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
He's very well hated, isn't he?
Yeah.
But to be fair, I mentioned his name
Yeah.
because famously he was the one that broke into Bohemian Grove and blew that case wide open.
Yeah, see, I just thought he was any old reporter.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he was such a prolific bad man,
Yeah.
if you like, a bad guy.
So we won't be mentioning Alex Jones again. And we don't believe in what he believes.
No, definitely
You know
not.
what I mean? We don't stand with the stuff. I know he got in trouble with the whole Sandy Hook thing, and he has been sued quite a lot.
A very lot,
Yeah, and he's very hated. So now that we are aware, I won't mention his name again. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, we weren't exactly talking about him. Really.
No, I think it was just that you had to present some facts for the story, the presentation that you were doing, and yeah, it just it happened to come up, but he was like, yeah, no, people who hear that name in America are automatically turn sour to it, so we thought, right, we'd better address that.
And we don't want to lose any American listeners.
Thank you to Ted for bringing it to our attention, because yeah, we didn't realise it was such a big deal.
Yeah, but it does make me laugh that I've slated the American government, and we've done redneck accents, and we've slated America, and I just think it's so funny if this is what crosses the line. And they're like, how dare they mention Alex Jones? How dare they? I've had enough of them But no, that's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, we realise the error of our ways now.
Yeah.
We'll still carry on taking the mick.
yeah.
just not on that particular bloke.
Yeah, I think actually Americans have quite good banter, which is why I think we get away with taking the mickey out of them quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
They can take it, can't they? I think.
Yeah,
A lot of them can anyway. Or they just tune out and never come back.
No, don't do that. Come back. We need them.
We need the numbers.
Well, today I'm gonna.
We're picking on Russia today, aren't we?
Well, kind of. I suppose.
Mortal enemies. We'll go the other way.
Yeah. We'll balance it out a bit now. I'm going to start off by saying today's subject was brought to my attention by another podcast called Ninjas Are Butterflies. They touched on it. They didn't really do like a big deep dive into it. They just mentioned
They're the
it.
guys you keep showing me on TikTok, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Like they bring stuff up, and I keep seeing little clips. And then I went on like YouTube to find their actual podcasts and stuff. And most of their videos are like 10, 15 minutes long.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, so this caught my attention.
Fair enough.
And I thought, I've never heard of that. I doubt most people have heard of this kind of thing. So I'm going to go for it. So I started doing like a deep dive into it. And you know what's very interesting straight away from the get-go, if this doesn't get people excited, there isn't even a Wikipedia about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no Wikipedia about this thing.
This is some hard-won research then.
Yeah, so shout out to Ninjas Are Butterflies, and also I think it's topsecret.com or
Above top secret.
Above top secret, yeah. And various other websites that are all to do with like conspiracy theories and a bit of history websites and things like that. But it's a fairly recent thing in a way.
A recent discovery.
Yeah, so there's not too much on it, but I've got some stuff here.
Okay.
So let's dive in. I actually wrote out what this thing was what this thing is, and I didn't like it. So I found a kind of paragraph describing it.
A better description than your own.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
So today we are covering the Khara Hora Shaft.
Another Russian shaft.
Yes.
Right.
They love shafting people, the old Russians. So the remote and rugged region in the North Caucasus. Caucasus.
Caucasus Mountains, yeah.
In the Kabardino-Balkaria Republic of the Russian Federation.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Is a place... Oh, there's much worse. Wait till I get to the guy's name. Is a place of towering mountains and untamed wilderness. Yet in 2011, Arthur Zemahimikov, who was a Russian speleologist, which is the scientific study and exploration of caves.
Okay. He's a Russian caver, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not how you say it. But, he made an astonishing discovery at the Khara Hora mountain peak. There, he found a deep, narrow, vertical shaft, seemingly swallowed by the earth itself. It was made of parallel stone slabs that seemed perfectly geometrical, as if they were artificially made. The walls were straight and polished, extending 40 meters or 130 feet deep into the mountain, before opening into a wide underground hall. The straight walls of this shaft were constructed from large megalithic blocks, or as I wrote in my notes, megalithic blokes, that fitted together at right angles with minimal gaps. There were even large stones that looked like columns, weighing over 200 tons.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They figured out how the Egyptians did it.
Basically.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the interesting thing here. I've mentioned all of this, so I'm going to go to the next page.
Oh, awesome.
350 feet deep from the very top of the mountain to the bottom. Altogether, 300.
That's not a very high mountain. It didn't go all the way down from there. Yeah, okay.
So just to the bottom chamber, basically. Prehistoric artificial structure with very similar construction of the pyramid of Khufu.
All right.
And it is basically identical.
There's a pyramid
shaft.
down the shaft?
No. So the shaft in Russia
Yeah.
is almost identical to the shaft and the way it's constructed at the one of the chambers and the shafts of the Pyramid of Khufu. So
Okay.
obviously one's in Russia and one's in Egypt.
But you said this shaft went straight down.
Yeah.
The ones in the pyramid don't go straight down.
Well, there's obviously one that goes straight down in the Pyramid of Khufu.
Okay.
There is some sort of shaft that goes straight down in the Pyramid of Khufu.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you, man. That's what it tells me in
I'm
research.
guessing possibly the shape of the shaft, because it's
Probably, yeah.
the shaft in Khufu is like coffin sort of shaped, isn't it? Very tall, like 30 feet tall, and
We'll have to check the diagrams. But no, it's said on multiple websites that it is identical.
very resemblant. Yeah.
So again, there begs the question of why are these two things so far apart across the world, yet so similar?
Oh, don't get me started on that one. Pyramids and structures all on every continent.
Yeah,
the Chinese even buried theirs and planted trees on top of them, which we could cover in a different episode, so I won't go too much into that. But yeah,
I might possibly cover something later on to do with the Chinese.
Okay.
There are still parts undiscovered in this Russian shaft, and it involves climbing and high levels of endurance to be able to reach this chamber, and they can't go further into this chamber, into the shaft, because the gaps, they're not even big enough to fit a child. They've based it just like the pyramids in Egypt. You know how they were kind of getting cameras and going through gaps.
Well, they need little drones then, don't they, to send in there?
Yeah, it's basically got to that point. So this was in 2011.
Miniature Spider-Man drones.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
But they've tried to explore more into it, and they've just kind of hit roadblock after roadblock, just like the Egyptian pyramids.
Okay.
But they are still trying to investigate it. It's trying to find a way round, and because like I say, it's identical to pyramids, so it's almost like booby traps and things like that.
Oh, right, okay. Well, yeah, some of the pyramid. Well, in the pyramids, particularly the staircase leading up to like the king's chamber and stuff, there's evidence of where booby traps were, or at least like blockades. There's like runners going down the walls that would have housed like big, massive stones to block you going in. But whoever it was that robbed those graves thousands of years ago actually removed all of those booby traps, and and now all we've got is like the runners that are left to show where they were. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
The shaft in Russia, they've dated it. Well, I say they've dated it, kind of dated it. They've looking at it, doing their research, getting the experts in. They say it's
about
like,
as old as that mountain there.
they reckon about 4,400 year old.
Yeah,
kind of structure, same as like pyramids and things like that.
Ooh,
so
that's a big claim to make.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I said that they're probably more likely 12,000 years old, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is just what they've. It's hard because it's a new discovery. And there's not that much on it.
Stone itself, you can't really carbon date stone. Well, you're carbon dating the age of the stone, not the actual the masonry work that was done and put into place. There's no way of literally. There's no easy way of dating that, is there?
Yeah. So that's the thing. There's stuff that's probably still going to come out about it as they explore it more. But at the moment, they've dated it back to like 4,400 years ago. Well, they've said that there's similar patterns and tools and things being used that dates to that time.
Yeah.
To the point where they have found perfectly circular holes that they say there must have been some sort of machinery used.
Like a drill bit. Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So they can't explain that. So they've found them in the shaft as well. Possible technology being used. We've spoke before about like ancient technology and things that they've got. But the right angles and the blocks and the way things are positioned in the chamber and the shaft. Again, it's very similar to the pyramids, where they just think, is there ancient technology being used?
Are they like so precision, like almost laser cut, like
Yeah.
like is it Pahuma Punku or whatever it's called?
What do you call me?
No, that's that place in I think it's up in the United States. Very enigmatic, another megalithic structure that they can't figure out how it was. The place with the H-shaped blocks that all look like laser.
Yes,
cut. I'm
yes.
Sure is it Pahuma Punku or something like that? I think
Machu
it's called.
Picchu.
No, not Machu Picchu. That's further south.
No, I don't know what it's called.
It's something like that. But yeah, if it's etchings and cutting like that, then we literally can't explain how they did that.
Very precise. Very, very
Particularly
precise.
when it was meant to be in like Stone Age times. They'd have had stone tools to do it with. And
Yeah. See, this is a whole nother podcast. But as we're getting older and we're doing more for the pod and researching more and things like that, I'm starting to think that the image that we have of medieval times and all of the olden days of like
it's messed up, isn't it?
I think there's stuff that we're missing. Like, how do we not know that there wasn't technology and ancient technology and stuff being used by the Egyptians? Like, we just think of them as like using paper and reeds and stuff and being all simple.
We don't know though. When you think about how quickly civilizations can get covered over just by years of erosion, undergrowth and stuff. Like, I was just watching, this is completely irrelevant, but I was watching a video, a 42 video, you know how like 42, he was talking about like civilizations that used to inhabit the Amazon. We found like structures and stuff in the Amazon now with LiDAR and that. Like, well, apparently the civilizations back in the Amazon might have been millions strong.
Yeah.
But it was when the Europeans came over and introduced smallpox, they just died out. And because they built everything out of wood, it just rotted away and disappeared over just like 100 years.
Yeah.
Just nothing left of it. They all died or moved away because of the smallpox and that. And all of their structures, all of their civilization just completely rotted and was completely taken back by the jungle.
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
Nobody even knew that they were there.
There's just so much to human history.
How many other civilizations and societies could there have been throughout ancient history that we've just got no evidence of anymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
They weren't building stuff out of stone like this was. All right, this is a cave, but a shaft.
Yeah.
But yeah, how many of them are there out there?
I think is it Graham Hancock that does the videos and movies and documentaries and things about like ancient civilization and I'm sure his name's Graham Hancock. He has very compelling evidence, and I'm sure it was him that said we're missing like 150,000 years in our human history that we just don't know about.
Easily, yeah.
And also, while we're on the subject, I will get back to this subject. At some point, I'm gonna sound stupid here. I'm going to open up the debate and do a podcast at some point on, did dinosaurs actually exist?
Ooh.
I'm leaving it there. I'm just saying, right. Okay. I've listened to a couple of podcasts now about these. One of them used to. It's not archaeology, is it?
Yeah, it's paleontology and archaeology.
He used to be obsessed with dinosaurs and was like, from a kid, became a paleontologist. And the more he dug into it, the more he was like, he's now like in his 50s. And he's now saying to people, I actually don't know or can confirm 100% if dinosaurs did die out 65 million years ago. He thinks they're more recent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's got evidence and things of like, everyone assumes dinosaurs.
There is another theory that I was going to do a completely separate podcast on called the Silurian age, like the civilization. I think it's the Silurian, and that was another possibility of like you say, maybe dinosaurs or some form of evolution of dinosaurs
Yeah.
that created like an actual intelligent lizard species that was around somewhere around 50 million years ago.
Yeah. I see. I don't know why I said dinosaurs didn't exist. They definitely
They
existed.
existed, yeah. If you've
Yeah.
never been to the Natural History Museum, then
What I meant to
understand
say
your point, but
was the history of dinosaurs is different to what we think. I don't know why I said they didn't exist. They've
quite
definitely
possibly.
existed.
I mean, when you get back past, like you say, 50, 60, 70 million years ago, it's very easy to give or take a couple of million years, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or, you know, you could assume something's 300 million years ago. It might be 500. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, anyway, the Khara Shaft.
All right, the Khara Russian hole.
So there was another man who took up Arthur on his offer to explore the shaft, and he was brought in actually, and his name was Vadim Chernobrov. I said that
Well
one all right.
done.
He was actually a expert in meteorites, and he was an aerospace engineer working for the Russian version of what they translated to space search.
So they stuck him down a hole.
Yes, because he was an expert in like meteorites. So it was all to do with like rocks and stones, but he also had a fascination with, I suppose, ancient civilizations in a way, if you know what I mean. So he was just an interesting guy that was very, very smart, and they just brought him in because they thought if anyone's got the CV, it's this guy.
Okay.
But one of the main things that they brought him in for was as part of Space Search. So this is what connects it. So as part of his actual job, he was in charge of all the expeditions to sites with extraterrestrial activity or unusual creatures. And obviously it's to do with extraterrestrial space. And so when they discovered this, ancient civilizations, possibly aliens, it's very similar to pyramids. So he was just brought in as the Russian expert.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Have they discovered any sculptures or anything like that down there? There's no
Nothing.
like human busts or
Nothing. That's what's
statues
even weirder about
or-
this.
no?
There's no sculptures. There's no drawings. There is nothing. It's an empty chamber. There is literally nothing in there. It's just a massive, like, perfectly cut, polished shaft into this big polished shaft. into this big old chamber, and it's spacious, but there's just nothing to it, you know. Vadim Chernobrov actually managed to get a detailed map and create 3D maps that you can see online of the shaft, so people can have a look at what it looks like. And we spoke briefly then on ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
And if people are thinking, is this a hoax? What is Josh talking about? This is so random. This isn't the first time something like this has been discovered.
Oh no.
Have you heard of the Longyu Caves in Asia?
I think so.
This is probably more interesting than the shaft, but it just proves that this thing has happened before. So in June 1992, 4 farmers in Longyu found caves when they drained the water of 5 small ponds in their village. The ponds turned out to be 5 large man-made caverns. Further investigation revealed 19 caverns nearby. They have been determined to be more than 2,000 years old, and their construction is not recorded in any historical documents.
That doesn't surprise me.
Wait, I'm going to show you a picture online, and you might be able to insert it.
Yeah.
Right? It is crazy. Like, these things have pillars. It is like staircase. It's crazy. It's like a whole.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's like a mansion underground.
It doesn't surprise because, like I say, what I mentioned earlier, the pyramids in China, that they've literally turned into hills because they just like buried them, basically planted trees on top of them. Like some of them, very well documented.
Yeah.
But something like 3/4 of them, you will not find a single trace of evidence of it ever having been there. And yet there they are. You know, you see photographs of them. You can visit well, I guess you can visit near them. I think that they're like a closely guarded thing. You're not allowed to go inside them or unearth them or
This
anything
one you
like
can.
that. So
This one you can
there you go.
have a look around. And the caves are very large human-made excavations. The average floor area of each cave is 11,000 square feet,
wow.
with ceiling heights of up to 98 feet, and the total area of all the caverns, 320,000 square feet.
Fair play.
Now, the ceiling, wall, and pillar surfaces are all finished in the same manner.
What's that? That's got to be somewhere equal to a big football stadium.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge, and it's all underground. And they only discovered it by draining ponds. It's insane.
It's massive, yeah.
A series of parallel bands and courses, and we've got chiseling marks set to an angle of about 60 degrees. The caves have remained whole since they were constructed, with no damage or loss of structural integrity. So completely perfect condition.
It's amazing what the ancients knew, their construction techniques, isn't it?
It's insane. And even though nearby to each other, due to their uniform construction and design, all were apparently made for the same unknown purpose. The caves have no cross-connecting passages, even though excavating a small tunnel would have required very little effort. So they could have linked together, but they don't necessarily. They're all separate, 19 of them. So that's the Long U Caves. So that was discovered before this shaft. So it has happened in history.
Yeah.
People have found these and it goes to the theory of underground cities and things like that.
Even again, unrelated, but the Terracotta Army and that was discovered by accident in, like you say, man-made cave. I don't think they're still excavating it, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They haven't uncovered the whole lot.
Yeah, that one, I don't know if people are actually allowed to go there. I think that one.
I think you're allowed to see the exhibit, but you're not allowed to go further deeper in, because it is it's a burial tomb or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that,
very
isn't
protected.
It?
That one. That's very cool looking though.
Yeah.
So, man-made tunnels, so small that humans or children could not fit in, a technological structure for a reason unknown, or possibly a huge ventilation system using the airflow from the underground, allowing cooling and circulation. So that is what they think this shaft is for. That's what their conclusion came to, is it's just a huge ventilation system.
Okay. I'm actually a little sceptical that it'd be for cooling. I think it'd more for a regulated heat, like a regular temperature.
Well, there's constant cold air circulating through this ventilation thing.
Oh, okay.
Through all the holes and the nooks and crannies and the shaft and stuff. There's constant cold wind. So that's just why they think it is potentially like ventilation. I've
heard of people who build their houses into hillsides and stuff, almost like not cave dwellers, but people who've built their houses as though it's a cave and a hillside. So they need very little heating. Yeah. Because it's so well insulated and just it just finds its own ambient temperature, and as long as you protect yourself from the damp and that, you got no problems with heating or cooling. It's cool in the summer, it's hot, it's warm in the winter, and it's just a nice ambient temperature all year round. So
there's a couple of other theories as to what this shaft could be.
Okay.
One of them is a long lost pyramid for royalty. So the ground and the mountain and everything over the years has just kind of buried it. Yeah. So it could have been an actual pyramid once upon a time. An antique energy source is another theory. Yeah. Some sort of weird technical. I can't even speak.
Technological?
Yeah, what he said.
Well, I said it wrong.
some sort of energy source. An ancient quarry is another one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get into the juicy bit. of this shaft and to why I've kind of brought it to everyone's attention.
Okay,
Because at the moment, it's
just a hole in the
hole
ground.
in the ground. It's just a bit boring. I know there's people shouting like, "What is this episode? There's nothing here." Well, let me tell you, Nazis. That's right. I said the N-word.
Oh,
Nazis.
that's the second worst N-word I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. I don't feel great saying it, my friend. But it is true. So Arthur actually found this shaft kind of by mistake, but kind of on purpose. So bear with me. Arthur was also researching and investigating the lost records of the Nazis left behind in World War II.
Okay.
Now, bear with me. We're going to connect the dots together.
In the Caucasus Mountains in southern Russia.
Yes,
okay.
We're going to connect the dots here. We're going to connect the dots. Right. So I don't know if you're the same. You probably already knew a lot about it because we all know that you're in favour of white power. So.
Oh.
No, I
don't even tar me with that brush, man.
Banter. I'm only joking.
If I was, you would not be on this podcast.
I'm only joking. I'm sorry. Stupid joke. But the Aryan race, like, I didn't really know much about the Aryan race, and like
I don't know
Hitler's
much about it.
Yeah. I
don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm being silly. Right. So the Aryan race, I didn't actually know much about it. I didn't know what Hitler's regime was or anything like that.
Oh, is this like the super race that he wanted to create? Okay.
Yeah, so he wanted to create that Aryan race, but he was claiming that Germans were the bloodline of the Aryan race, saying that they were superior, not mythical powers, but they were just more enlightened, more like just better than any other race, basically, is what his Aryan race was. But originally, the Aryan race was a thing in northern India, but it was the study of language structure.
I thought Hitler wanted like a whole race of like blue-eyed blonde people.
That's part of it, but the main crux of it is like the Aryan race is basically Hitler saying that Germans as a whole, we are a more superior race. We come from this bloodline of the Aryans, which is a thing.
German.
No, he wasn't. So
it's just stupid, isn't it? Go on, carry on. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
So obviously, they were kind of changing history. So this is the crazy thing. This is where we're connecting the dots, right? So in northern India, they had the Aryan race. This is where it actually comes from. So Hitler and the Nazis, they would send a group of SS people, which stands for
Super soldiers.
Schutzstaffel, which also means the protective echelon. Right. So he would send these Nazis around to find artifacts and to find history, books, whatever he could, to basically prove that the Nazis and Germany were from the Aryan bloodline.
Oh, he was mad though, wasn't he?
He was absolutely bonkers. Probably on meth.
I think he probably was. He must have been on some kind of drug, opium probably. But yeah, all of the things that I've heard about Hitler, like researching, because he was like a massive UFO.
He was.
He wanted to like recreate UFOs for the German race, and like well, in fairness, the Nazis did kind of create the first rockets, didn't they?
Yeah.
Even though they didn't use them to propel people into space, it was more of a targeted missile system. But I mean, the stuff that he used to research was well beyond like advanced technology of the time.
Oh yeah. He was nuts though.
He was absolutely bonkers in some of his beliefs
Yes.
that he had, and some of the errands that he had people running to find out these nuts conspiracy theories and whatnot.
Yeah, and fun fact, he also had a hand in creating the Volkswagen Beetle, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He did.
So this shows you how bonkers he is. So he had been told that obviously the Aryan race and everything was mainly from northern India and Tibet and that kind of area.
Okay.
So he was told of a place called Shambhala. Now, Shambhala
I've heard of this.
It's kind of like a mythical place. It's like the way to explain it is like the Garden of Eden.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was thinking, like the Garden of Eden or the Fountain of Youth or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's in history is like a magical place.
Yeah.
So he sent the Nazis over to find Shambhala, which is where they found, like, because they went around that whole area,
Right.
and when they were on top of the mountain where the shaft is, they never actually found the shaft.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting is when Arthur was following the tracks of the Nazis and whatever, he comes across the same mountain, and he finds on the floor, etched in the stone, a swastika.
Oh.
Now,
Or in the cave or just on the mountain?
pretty much near it.
Okay.
So he came to the conclusion that that was a marker for the Nazis to say, right, we've checked this area, this is where we've been.
Right.
So, but they never found the actual shaft. That was just nearby. But what is crazy interesting, Arthur found another swastika, the other side of the cave.
Right.
But it was similar to the old swastika, where it's slightly curved and it's the other way. So it's
That's an Asian symbol.
the Asian symbol.
Yeah.
Now that one, they've got no idea where it came from, but they dated that even older than the Nazis.
Well, it would be, yeah.
So there is a connection there of that symbol that everyone sees as a swastika. For a lot of people, it's not a swastika. It
Not if
was
it's the wrong way round, no.
Yeah, it's actually used by, like, isn't it monks? And it's like a peaceful sign.
It's very peaceful. I can't remember exactly what it means off the top of my head, but yeah, it's complete different opposite to what the Nazis symbol stood for.
Yeah, so they found that symbol close by to the other swastika, and it's even older than the swastika. So maybe just a bit of a coincidence there, but they were on the edge of finding it, of finding the shaft. And also, they were looking for oil in the Caucasus Mountains as well, the Nazis.
They were looking for oil at the top of a mountain.
Yeah. They were looking for...
They were clever people.
Because they'd not only heard about Shambhala, but they'd heard that Russia had huge amounts of oil. So they were trying to go a little bit off grid to try and sneak some oil.
Yeah, you'd
So
have to do a lot of drilling from the top of a mountain to
Yeah.
find oil, though, wouldn't you?
But that is another reason why the Nazis were in this area.
Right.
So I just found that very interesting, anyway, that there's a little tie to Nazis and stuff there. Now, a little bit of conspiracy thrown into this story as well. In 2015, when Arthur announced that he had found this cave, he thinks he knows what it was for, and he's done his research, he's going to declare to the world, like, there's this underground thing, it's similar to a pyramid.
I found a swastika there.
Found a swastika. He's found the ties of the Nazis.
No statues.
No statues.
No
very
texts,
mysterious.
No books, no scrolls.
The
nothing.
next day, after saying, I'm going to come out with this, I'm going to announce this big thing, the next day he gets hit by a car and dies.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we know about
Who
it.
was driving the car?
It doesn't matter. Some guy.
Was that an Asian some guy?
Yeah. The other guy, Vidym Sherenebrov.
Oh, yeah.
So I've written Victor down here, which I think is the Russian translation of what Vidym is. So he died 2 years later from cancer after being into the shaft and the chamber and everything.
Ooh, there's
And-
a kryptonite down there.
Well, I don't think he was Superman, so wouldn't have affected him. If my nerd knowledge is correct there.
You called me out there.
And the 3 other team members that they had on the team exploring with them all died within the same 2 years.
Of cancer, or don't know.
Some of them mysterious ways. One of them, the guy was just found dead.
Oh,
So the whole team...
did they have like burn marks on their body? Was there organ failure? Was there?
I'm not going to lie to you, I did not look into it.
Oh, okay.
So
because I was just wondering if there was like radioactivity in the hole. That was all I was thinking.
maybe
It was,
I wanted to keep it a mystery. So I'm going to leave it a mystery.
You kept it a mystery for yourself as well, didn't
They
you?
all mysteriously died within the 2 years. So the whole team that discovered, and well, not discovered because Arthur discovered it, but the whole team that researched it, tried to dig deeper, found the connections of the Nazi, all of this stuff, they all died.
So maybe we shouldn't be exploring this this cave, this shaft, because other people might die. It might be cursed, you know, like the famous curse of Tutankhamun that wasn't actually a curse. It was just bad luck for anybody that went in there.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
they all died as well.
Very true. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that what Indiana Jones is based on as well? Like one of the is it?
Similar to that, yeah. Raiders of the Lost Ark was more
That's
about the Ark of the Covenant than
Yeah.
Egyptians. But
Tomatoes. It's all linked. But I think we shouldn't investigate and dig deeper because otherwise the Nazis have won.
how they won? They didn't even find the hole.
Well, someone's covering up for the Nazis, aren't they? We all know they all disappeared to Argentina and stuff, don't we? Or is that another conspiracy?
We know that.
Yeah. So there's something going on with the Nazis.
There was. Hopefully, there's not any more.
How do we know? How do we know they're not underground?
Well, I guess there are pockets of the world where people still believe in their ideology, but I think it's pretty much died out now. I mean, white supremacy is still a thing in some certain places.
Here we
Not
talking
not
about
really
it
here
again,
in England, but I guess in some places it is. But no, Nazism, it's not really a thing anymore.
Yeah, no, you are right. It's like white supremacy and stuff, isn't it? Which comes
developed.
off
I mean, the KKK is more sort of in line with it, really, than.
You seem to know an awful lot about all this nonsense.
I've learned it from you.
You can't have done. I'm mixed race, don't you know?
Yeah, I know. That's what you keep saying.
Well, there we go. That's what I've got on the Khara Hora Shaft. Bit all over the place today, but I had to make some random hole in the ground interesting.
Well, yeah. Throw a stick down and see how it lands, eh?
And I also, you can look it up. I didn't make the Nazi stuff up to make it more interesting. That is actually part of it. There is a swastika engraved in the ground and everything I said.
Near it.
Yeah.
Not in it. So, I mean, I'd love to give it a high score. It is interesting, and I think ancient megalithic structures are interesting. The fact that the Nazis possibly were looking for it is interesting. But as you say, they've found very little actually down there. And the one guy who did think that he'd solved the puzzle and figured out what it was all about, then died the next day.
Yeah.
Being hit by a car.
Maybe a Volkswagen Beetle.
Maybe it was. Yeah.
It's all connecting.
By a guy waving with his left hand. Who knows?
Too far.
But no, I mean, it's interesting. It is definitely a mystery what it's all about.
Is it not the most mysterious hole in the ground in Russia you've ever heard of? Surely there's not another one you could think of.
Not a mysterious hole in Russia. No. Well, you kept going on about those other holes that appear in Russia, but I have heard some rational explanations for those. I suppose I'll give it a 6.8.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Again, as far as holes in the ground go, it's pretty mysterious, and I think everyone listening will agree. It's definitely a mysterious hole in Russia, and that's as far as it goes. I'm giving it a 6.1.
Was that? I didn't. I thought you were looking for me to go higher. So
No.
That's the only reason why I give it above a 6, to be honest.
I mean, there's not much to it. It just piqued my interest. It tickled my teats, and I thought I'm just going to dive into it, see what I find. I found some kind of weird connections with Nazis, a little bit of mystery there. But there's no actual evidence. They don't know. There is evidence of the hole. It exists, but they don't know what it was for. They don't. it's all speculation. And then, it just goes back to ancient civilizations, things underground, being similar to pyramids. It's just a weird mystery. That's all it is. But it's not.
But there's plenty of those all over the world, and I mean. A Russian shaft in a Russian gash is not really that mysterious.
No. What I should have done was covered the Long U caves and then mentioned this.
Yeah, perhaps.
I should have swapped it around.
Got it the other way around. Yeah. Never mind. But
I think 6.1's fair.
That was good. It was interesting. It was quite a nice little conversation. We covered quite a lot of topics today, to be fair.
Yeah, and it also gives people a little glimpse into the future of when I kind of cover dinosaurs possibly not being extinct 65 million years ago and being closer to civilization and things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I want
to know how you're going to prove that and why there's doubt when we can measure the levels of ground that you have to dig through and, put ages to those levels of ground. And then when you find something at a certain level of ground where everything else around it is 65 million years old,
well, this is the
why
thing,
that
mate.
one wouldn't be.
You're using actual science. I'm going to be using bro science.
Oh, pseudoscience.
And a couple of guys that I saw on the internet who have more credentials than stones. So
fair enough.
no, it's just
Let's hope
a
their
theory.
initials aren't AJ.
It's just a theory I heard, and I don't know how I feel about it. I need to look at it more, and if I think it's a load of rubbish, then I probably won't bring it up again. But
we'll get more emails going, don't say it.
Yeah,
Bring up the dinosaurs being less than 65 million years old.
Yeah.
Can't possibly be true.
I don't know. I mentioned to you before about the whole dragon thing being tied into dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's
No, go on. No, don't ruin it for a future episode, because I did kind of enjoy your little theory on that. I want you to expand on it and try and convince me, because I love dragons. Dragons are just a thing. Maybe because I'm half Welsh.
yeah.
But I want you to dig into that one. So
Dragons.
we like our dragons round by here.
I would love it if all dragons had a Welsh accent.
They do.
Oh, do that.
They're either Welsh or Chinese, aren't they? Dragons.
Can you do
That's why they can't communicate with each other. It just sounds like a roar.
Can you do a Welsh dragon roaring? What would that sound like?
A roar.
Get off me gold. No, I don't know what accent.
What?
Dragons have
Stop being
gold.
racist. Look,
That is not racist. That is Welshist, if that's a thing. I went to Wales and I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed myself and everyone was lovely. I've got a bad word to say about Wales, apart from their roads being a bit bumpy, but that is it. Apart from that...
they got to go over mountains. They can go over a mountain without it being bumpy.
That's a fair point. Yeah, they got to cart their sheep about, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you on the car.
Okay, fair enough. Right, let's just bring it to a close there. Like and subscribe. Send us a comment, even on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. If you think that you've got a mysterious hole that Josh should dive into, then
I'm married.
And until next time, I've been Pirate.
I'm Josh.
This has been Paranormality UK. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.